If you like what you watch, then don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates on The More Show. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new weekly television and radio shows.
I'm now joined by Jane McCarthy. Jane is a psychic investigator and certified medium with the Christian Spiritualist Society. She works as a speaker and demonstrator on the Spiritualist church circuit throughout the UK. Jane is also a publisher and author whose books include The Wondrous Cross, which provides a guide to the spiritual pathway. Jane McCarthy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now Jane, just for our audience, tell us a bit about yourself to begin with.
I started off in the bank, and then I went into insurance, and I got my contract law and my CIP, but I've always been spiritual, and I've known it from the age of 4 years old. And I went full-time on this pathway about 10 years ago.
And what brought you onto the pathway that you're on now?
Well, I've always been like it. I started doing the work over 30 years ago. And it's by little coincidences that happened, and one murder case, I'm afraid.
Okay, so how do you, I mean, you say you're spiritual and you're a medium as well and a psychic investigator. Yes. But just getting back to your beginning story then, how did it start for you? What was a key thing for you to become spiritual?
It's got to be the murder case. I literally dreamt of a murder. I saw what happened, I saw where it happened, and I saw the person, how he died and who did it. I woke up sweating and the bed was literally drenched, and Chris, my husband, said if you went to the police they would think that you were, you know, if they found anything, they found the body, because it was actually in Rove Park Lake.
Right. And
if they found the body, you could be part of it, you know, the murder story. So if there's no body there, you'll look like a local nutcase. So he said, do nothing, and I didn't. At the time I was working in insurance, and I went back and forth on the bus past the lake upstairs, and on one occasion I heard this little voice, and it was like, help me, you know, you understand, help me. And I looked at all the faces on the bus, every one of them. No one was sort of listening to this voice, no one could hear it. And I thought, oh, what do I do? Because husband said, don't do anything. So again, I just ignored it, thinking it was something to do with, you know, my mind playing tricks or something. About 2 weeks later, there on the placard, at lunchtime, I went out, body taken out of Rove Park Lake. It was a shame, but I realised I could have done something to help.
So what changing point was that in your career when that happened then?
In my career, I realised that they were using me for a reason. I always sort of left the door shut.
When you say they're using you, who's they?
I would say spirit, dimensions, whatever you want to call them. But I see and hear and have done since a little one. So my first memory is 4 years old. So I knew that they were using me in respect of the work. I just wanted to ignore it and be normal, because when you're built this way, you're persecuted.
So since a young, 4 years old, that you just mentioned there, you used to hear voices all the time?
No. What happened is that I went to church, and like all children, they go to the altar to be blessed. And the minister put his hand on my head to bless me, and it went like right through me like a lightning bolt. And I thought, wow, it was beautiful. I felt uplifted, I was smiling, and I came away thinking, wow, that's why people go to church.
So when you look back at that now, what was it that happened at that point?
I think that when every child goes to church to be blessed, it happens. But those that are aware or more open to it feel it, and I felt it. Not everybody feels it.
Okay, so when you say you're open to
the spiritual side.
The spiritual side, okay. So
looking back on that experience, it's the only explanation that fits in.
So what's it mean then to be spiritual?
It's your whole life. It's not just about work, it's everything. The first thing that I learned was the universal law of karma. Whatever you do in life comes back on you. So you're very careful about what you do. It's like service. In one respect, I was taught that some of the things that you do in life, you know, and not necessarily if you commit murder, etc. like that, it comes back in another kind of way of learning curve. how it's been explained to me. I did an investigation with a priest. For years, my family used to go to Cowbridge Common. There's a little cafe there. And I used to go, and every time I went, because my son used to go horse riding, we used to sit in the cafe. My husband now had got used to me saying, oh, spirit's around us. So spirit was around us. It was a priest. And this priest came in, and every time that I was in the cafe, he would talk to me in my ear and tell me what he'd done, collected all the souls that had passed over, that were a bit disorientated from the past, and collected them all so that they could literally move on. And he had done this job for 300 years.
And this was a trap spirit, are we saying? This is...
No, it was of his choice.
Right, so this is someone that had passed on from and committed a horrendous sort of act.
Yes.
But was stuck on this...
No, not stuck. That was his judgment. He could not forgive himself. And because he couldn't forgive himself, or nobody give him the reassurance that he can forgive himself, he would not pass over. He had done this for 300 years. But the strange thing is we did an investigation. You've got a paranormal video of the investigation.
So you did the investigation.
Yes.
He came through.
Yes. I didn't know it was him at the time.
No. And then what happened?
Well, it was a very strange experience because I did this for a magazine, a major magazine, and we also run a competition. And we brought 2 girls from London who'd won the competition. So there was quite a gang of us. And there was also some media students from the UWIC. And we had a ball, we had a really good time. Yeah. But doing it, the story unfolded. And the story unfolded that the priest in 1700s had actually killed a 14-year-old girl. And the 14-year-old girl, it was like the priest was chasing the girl through the pub. Things were being moved, beds were being moved.
Right, so their energy was still there.
Oh,
so where did this investigation lead to then Jane?
Well, the amazing thing is, when I sat outside in broad daylight, came back after the investigation, which went through most of the night, I sat quietly. I wanted to take photographs of the pub to put into the website. And the priest was there, and I said, oh, what are you doing here? You're normally up in Cowbridge. And he said, oh, no, I've got something to tell you. I said, oh, go on then. He said, the priest that you've just investigated who did the murder, that was me. I was amazed, because I'd known him for years. This is not just an investigation that is 5 minutes. I had been there on a monthly basis going to this cafe.
Right, when you say that he knew it was him, what do you mean there?
He was the actual priest that did the murder.
Well, he'd come through in spirit form?
Yes.
Yeah, right, okay.
He was the priest that we were investigated in the pub.
Now, again, not everyone would see this, would they? But you obviously being a medium, you have the ability to, I don't know, view these, what would you call them? Spirits? Yeah,
Spirits.
okay.
But the thing is that it was such a huge thing for me, because year after year, month after month, I've been going to this little cafe, talking to this priest.
And not knowing his past on.
Not knowing his past.
So a bit like something
all.
from The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis.
So when we did this investigation years later, oh, here's my friend the priest. Oh, hello, you know, you're only a couple of miles up the road in Cowbridge. And when he told me that he was that priest, he couldn't tell me before. He was so ashamed.
So what happened then? Once you made communication with this spirit?
Then I understood his story, and that's why most of the investigations take place. It's understanding the story. So.
But what did it do for the spirit, though?
He was able to be released.
Because?
I prayed for him, forgave him. It's what he wanted. I prayed for forgiveness for him from upstairs.
Right.
And he was released.
Okay.
And the young girl that, the spirit of the young girl had decided by then to take over his work. So she's still hanging around, I'm afraid.
So obviously this is one of many cases that you've dealt with.
Yes.
And again, I suppose from a young age, then you always have. I mean, you say that you're spiritual, but not every spiritual person is able to communicate.
That's
so
right.
obviously, this is a unique gift that you've got.
I think everybody's got it within them, but they don't open the door to it. You can ask, and it's a learning curve to learn. It happened to me because I feel that some people are doing things in life they've already done, and that's been proved to me time and time again. So if you have a talent, say of playing the piano this lifetime, it comes natural. You may have learnt in another lifetime.
Past lives you're talking about?
Past life, yes.
Okay, so you're very much a believer in,
I am a
past lives.
believer in past life, yes.
Okay. Was you always a believer then in this kind of stuff?
It's very difficult. Yes, a believer, but you know, when I grew up, I mean, you're a lot younger than me, Kevin, and it was very much you were persecuted for who you were, and if you were different to the norm, you were persecuted. So a lot of the time I kept quiet. Now I don't care.
No. And what changed you not to care then?
There's a lot of knowledge they've given me, and I just want people to learn.
And how does it work for you then? Is it spirit guide, or I mean, how do you, when you're sat with someone, giving someone a reading, I mean, is it voices again? Is it images?
It can be anything. They have taught me through the years all forms of communication, of seeing, because you know the orbs that everybody has been taking photographs of. Some, I agree, can be dust, can be water molecules or moisture, etc. But some are true spirit orbs, and we got some examples here to show you. But those orbs, like Stephen Hawkins have said, they are dimensional tunnels. They are time tunnels. They are the tunnels, and this is the end of the tunnel, is the orb that you're seeing.
Right, well, we'll come to the pictures of the orbs as well. So, so in your opinion then, when we pass on, when we've left our body,
Yeah.
we do go to a place you would call?
Well, I think Christ was right. There are many rooms to his mansion. There are many rooms over there because they all come in different colours. I can give you an explanation. This is how they taught me. Animals I always see as little blue ones. When my dog passed to spirit, she was very much loved by a lot of people, and one of my husband's friends used to come on a weekly basis to see her. He loved her. She loved him. She'd always run to him. When she passed, he was devastated. He was upset anyway. But he came round and he just wanted to talk about her. And he did. He was about to leave at 10 o'clock, and all of a sudden there was a flash of blue behind him. She ran towards me in the shape of the dog, all black. I saw her and I went, "Oh, beauty!" Started to pat, just off the floor. And there were, I just noticed, because I'm not used to people seeing, you see. And there were big tears running down his face. He saw her too, and he was patting the floor as well. He'd never seen spirit before, and he'd actually asked that very day to see. And it happened for him, because he loved her and she loved him. There was a bond between them. But I've noticed with animals, it's little blue orbs.
Okay. Well, I think we should get more into the pictures after the break, because there's so many great pictures there to look at, so we'll have a look at them. So
thank you, Kevin.
Stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the break with Jane McCarthy.
Visit themoreshow.co.uk/shop to purchase products and services from your favourite past guests. If you're new to this site, you can also catch up on the previous television and radio shows through YouTube and the More Show website.
Welcome back. I'm joined by psychic medium Jane McCarthy. Now, Jane, just before the ad break there, I wanted to talk about these pictures that we've got of you, from yourself.
Okay.
Now, one of these pictures is, well, all these pictures contain orbs, don't they? And just one thing before the break, we were talking about the orbs. Now, you were saying before the break that the orbs are a sort of a gateway to another dimension. Is that right?
It can be all things, because I feel spirit passed to, well, we pass to the other side. We don't automatically sprout wings and become angels. We are ourselves, but energy.
Yeah.
And this is a way they can come back and communicate with us, our past mums and dads and grandmas and our family. And they look after us and they guide us.
So normally orbs are captured on pictures, but do you see orbs around you?
I see orbs around me, yes.
Oh, right, okay.
All the time.
Okay.
I've written about them in that book. It was 1997 that was published. I've been seeing them all my life.
What are these other dimensions that they connect to? I mean, is that what we would call home, like I was trying to ask you before the break?
It must be home, because at the end of the day, where do spirit go? They go home. And this is part of our family, but the dimensions are slightly different, because if you can consider they're in the universe, it's huge, it's vast. Dimensions is other things as well. If you can imagine that's all energy, it's created, therefore they go back, and they go back to the source. These are just the dimensional tunnels from that source for their part.
Right, okay. So, on these pictures, now the first one I want to talk about, now this picture here, Jane, this wasn't taken by a digital camera, was it? So why does that make it more authentic, in your opinion?
Yes, it was taken in my hall years ago of my son. And there's an orb on him, yes. It wasn't a digital, it was before the digital cameras came out.
So you would say that's obviously harder to fake, with it being a non-digital camera?
I think they might have come out, but I think it was a 35mm.
Okay, and you know, did you ever have orbs in the pictures before, in any sort of family pictures?
Yes. When I started doing this with the digital cameras and actually going in and cleaning up the orbs to see what was inside, I looked back through the family photographs and yes, I found orbs. But we dismissed them, you see. We thought, oh, that's nothing. Yeah. We dismissed them, so yes, there were.
Okay, so let's look at this next one now. Now, this is a pretty unique one because there's, what is all this red around the picture at the top?
Now that is absolutely huge. If you look at the front here, that's a hydrangea bush and they have very big blooms. That gives you some sort of idea of how big that is. You can walk into that one. I call these cosmic doorways. Orbs are coming out from it, and in the next photograph is one taken immediately after where the actually giant orange orb has disappeared. You still see that one, it's coming more forward, but the giant one is gone.
What is coming, I mean, why have you captured this particular picture? I mean, what's it saying to you?
Well, because of the work I do, I truly believe that my guides are not only spirit that pass over dimensions, they're also cosmic. These I class, is what I've been told, are cosmic doorways. They're slightly different. They're big, aren't they?
Well, what is a cosmic doorway then?
Same sort of thing, isn't it? It's to the wormhole that comes from the other side, isn't it?
Okay, so these are dimensional, in your opinion?
Yes, in my opinion. It's only the way they've taught me, because these are, you know, some of them are from the past. It's like when the energy vibrational, the energy vibrational level is so high, you get a glimpse of the past or a glimpse of the future when
through these orbs. Through
these orbs, which are the end of the doorway. It's right at the end. This is just the tunnel. That's the end of the tunnel.
Pretty amazing. Okay, well, again, with this next picture that's taking place in a mass in a sort of church. What's happening there? That's a pretty.
That's right in front of me. Yes, that's another doorway. That's the only way I can describe them, as doorways. And yes, you're given information, and that's one of the ways that, you know, that you're getting it.
When you say information coming from these, what sort of information do you get from them?
All sorts of information. You know, I get guided to help people, etc. I mean, you look at this one. This was during a clairvoyant demonstration. The orb there is actually on her face. And as you can see, the lady in black is sat next to the lady in white. When you actually go in and blow up the photograph, there is a face between them.
How incredible. So it is, yeah.
So you can see.
And how long ago was this taken then?
I can't remember the year. I'm not so clever on dates these days, but it's not that far back. It's during the clairvoyant demonstrations that I did. I'm not too sure. I do apologise.
Okay. And when you sort of, I mean, you know, people will look at these and they'll say, well, hang on, this could have, you know, obviously it must just be a problem with the camera. What do you say about, what would you comment back to them?
It's a problem with the camera. I see them. I've done it with the BBC. They said, oh, well, prove it to us. I said, okay. So we did one investigation to Penhow Castle, and their photographer came with us and their video, you know, etc., everything. And we went into Penhow Castle and I said, look, there's one above the bed. So hubby took a photograph, and that's how he does it. I said, oh, there's one there. He takes a photograph and it appears in the photograph. And we did that in front of him.
But your husband's quite sceptical, isn't he?
Oh, biggest sceptic going. If he could prove this was all nonsense, he would love to.
Well, has anything changed his mind to say that maybe he's wrong?
They have done many things to him, and he will still try to look for a physical explanation. We have both seen UFOs, and he still says, okay, it's a UFO because it's an unidentified flying object. I don't know what it is.
So why do you see UFOs then, do you think?
I think that I've seen them for quite some time, and so has my husband, yes. I think it's part of the work I do. I think that they are around us, and I think they guide us, yes.
Do you think being a medium makes you more open to seeing something like that? Because you want to see it?
Don't want to see them. See them anyway. No, I don't. It doesn't bother me. It's like I know I've got cosmic guides, and I know when they're around. I'll tell you a little story. My dog sees spirit. This priest I told you about in Lantwit Major on that investigation, he came to visit me in the night. My dog doesn't worry about spirits. She sees them, she tells them off for being in the bedroom, so she barked at this one. And it was quite amusing because about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it woke my husband up and he said, "What is she barking at?" And I said, "Oh, there's a spirit in the car." "The pair of you go back to bed." You know, it's like, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, Judy's got the priest in the corner," and I said, "I can see him. There's nothing there," you know. So she knows when there's spirit around and it doesn't bother her, but we do have very high energy that upsets her.
So do you think dogs and animals in general
Very
are
sensitive.
Yeah, I was going to say are very sensitive to spirit.
They are indeed. But on the occasions when the energy is very high, she does not want to be in the house or be in the room.
So do you get people coming to see you that have had pets that have passed on?
I've had pets that have passed, yes, definitely pets that have come to me, yes. In the readings they come through, their names and what breed they are and things, yes.
Okay.
As proof for the people that their pets are still there, you know.
Yeah. And what's some of the sort of more stranger readings that you get sometimes? Is there any in particular? Or?
Well, you talk about karma, and whatever you do in life comes back on you. I did a reading last year where a lady came through and she said, "I've got 2 men in my life." She said, "I love them both. Who do I choose?" And I said, "Well, I can't choose for you, but they are both part of the same soul group. If you have hundreds or thousands of lifetimes, you will have many people connected to that soul group." So I said, they're both soulmates. They've both come back to help you through a past life incident that's caused a fear and a phobia within you. Their destiny is to help you overcome that fear.
Okay.
They're both romantically linked to you, so they could stay or go. They've been husbands to you in previous lives, so once they've done their destiny, one may stay, one may go, one giving in to the other. She turned around and she said, "They're both pilots and I got a fear of flying." I said, "Well, you've got your answer, haven't you?"
So karma then, in your opinion, what we put out to others, do we get back? Or, you know, or does the universe care what we do?
Oh, yes, the first thing that was taught me was the universal law of karma, which literally happens anyway. And it doesn't necessarily happen this lifetime, it happens in other lifetimes. Some of the good points, I like to focus on the good rather than on the bad. But if you do something remarkable one lifetime, you gain reward keys. And therefore, the next lifetime, you can use those reward keys. Many people want to write books. Many people want to do this, do that. But if you have the key there, it means the doors will open easily for you and you will do it. Your destiny is to do it because the reward key is already there.
What do you think? I mean, do you think the universe is more bothered about it's why you do it, not what you do?
Why you do it? It depends. If you hurt someone else, it's not a case of they want you to hurt. I'll go to a suicide case to explain this. Yeah. This will explain some of what you just asked. I did a church service, and it was like the service is the same as normal church. You have prayers, you have hymns, you have a little reading, and then you go on to the end of the service is slightly different. Yeah. In the Spiritualist church, you give proof of, or evidence of survival. And on this occasion, it was going very smoothly until the last gentleman appeared. And he was at the back of the altar the whole time, and then he stepped forward, and I knew this was the last reading. Sometimes the more difficult of the readings are right at the back because they know I get emotionally upset, and I do. Yeah. I get terrible. I end up crying with people. So this spirit came forward, and he said, "See that girl there?" I said, "Yes, that's my niece." She said, "I've brought her here today." And he said, she's in her mind is thoughts of suicide, and I got her here. This is what she's going to do prior to doing the act. I said, "Great, thank you, thanks a bunch." You can't say things like that. You have to literally, there's no way I would try and upset anybody. So I said, "I've got your uncle here, and he's told me that he went to war, and he went in the ship, but he didn't reach the other side." And he told me the whole reason why, but I was not again going to say that. So she said, "I know who you've got my uncle." And she said, he actually we all thought he committed suicide. He jumped off the boat
Right.
because he couldn't face going to war. He was a pacifist. And the gentleman then confirmed that it was the case, and I wasn't going to say that either. But then he turned round, he said, "Please help her." And I turned to her and I said, "Look, in the Spiritualist Church, we're slightly different. Well, I don't know if most churches do it anyway. We have counsellors, trained counsellors, and we have a sort of gathering, social gathering afterward, cup of tea, piece of cake, great. But it helps people relax and talk if they want to talk." So I said, "Can you stay behind, please? There's some counsellors here.
Yeah.
And could we talk afterwards? Because I am a trained counsellor." And she said, "I'd be delighted to." I started talking to her afterwards, and she confirmed a lot of what he had said. And then a little voice in my ear said, "She's fine now. She's not going to do it."
So how can people then find out more about your work?
I've got 4 websites. I put everything on there, the teachings from Spirit I do. You can go on there free and read up on all the stories, the near-death, karma, everything, suicide time.
Okay, so what's one of the main websites then that you would suggest?
It's www.psychicinvestigators.net,
Okay.
and you can get the 4 websites from that.
Well, Jane, thank you so much for joining us today.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
We'll be right back after this short break.
If you like what you watch, then don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates on The More Show. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new weekly television and radio shows.